Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So as you guys know, I recently went to external wastegate. I have been on internal wastegate for pretty much the entire ownership of my car. But ever since I changed over the turbo and changed up the turbo up pipe, I went over to external wastegate. A lot of people always ask me, is it worth it? Should I go that route? It's a daily driver. Should I stay internal, external? A lot of questions on this topic. So I'm going to try to clarify and answer everybody's questions and go over if I honestly feel if it's worth it or not. Now, I'm probably going to break it up into two different categories since these cars, or cars in general, people have two different purposes for them. One being a daily driver, the other one being kind of a weekend track, fun kind of car. So I'm going to name the pros and cons to each side of those aspects, just so I can clarify and answer everybody's questions for no matter which application you use this car for. So let's go ahead, let's go for a little drive, get some clips so you guys can hear what this thing sounds like. And then we can have a little discussion as to why I think it's worth it or not worth it to go to external wastegate. start talking and having a discussion about the external wastegate, I just wanted to show you how I got that in-car footage. I know a lot of people have always asked me, how do I get that footage? I used to use my phone to do all the videos, but I recently changed over to a Sony ZV-1 camera. And then I also got the passenger Recaro Sportster GT in there. So I kind of lost my ability to prop up the camera because I used to sandwich the phone between the seat and the headrest. So I wasn't able to do that anymore. So I'm just show you my setup now. I end up getting a Joby tripod and it works perfectly. It's a little dark in here, so let me turn on the light. So there you go. As you can see, I just have the Joby tripod wrapped around in the harness hole, and it works perfectly. I'm really, really happy with that. Now, I haven't checked the footage about how it sounded with all the windows down and everything, but I do have the little wind muffler things on there. So we'll see how it turns out. But either way, I'm happy about that. I think that's a good angle. You guys can see everything going on, and that's kind of exactly where it was prior. So let me switch back to the camera and let's have a little discussion. Now, before we go ahead and start explaining, is it worth it or not? I just want to simply explain what an external wastegate is. Simply put, from the factory, the Subaru STI, or most turbos from the factory, are internal wastegates. So basically, there's a little flap on the inside of the turbo. When it reaches a certain PSI, it opens, it lets all the waste out. Otherwise, if it didn't do that, you would be overboosting, having issues, and your car would probably blow up. So having that internal wastegate, having that little flap, that little passageway for the gases and the waste to get out somewhere is really important. So when you move over to external, basically you are closing off that little flap inside the turbo and moving the wastegate downstream or wherever it may be. Basically, it's a separate entity. And when you get your car tuned, you're able to control that. The tuner is able to control the wastegate much more easier. It's much more tunable. It's a lot more reliable. So going to an external wastegate when you go up in power is definitely the right move. Alrighty guys, so sorry for the low light. This is just the chance that I get to do these videos after I get the kids to sleep and everything, so this will have to do for now. But as you guys were able to hear, I checked the footage. It sounds decent. Obviously there's some wind noise, but you guys get the idea. I will be doing a future video of actually just straight driving, POV, exhaust clips, doing, getting some really, really good sound. But for now, I just wanted to get a few clips so you guys can hear it and understand what I'm talking about. So first thing I want to talk about is it worth it for a daily driver? No, I do not believe it is. If you drive your car every single day, you drive your friends, family, clients, what have you, it can get pretty annoying. There is no question about it. So say if you have some clients in the car or something, or family or your kids or whatever, and you're getting onto an on-ramp and you really need to get the RPMs up and you need to, kind of speed up, it gets really loud. I'm telling you, in person, I can't even describe to you how loud this car is when the external wastegate opens and it starts going through the dump tube. It is extremely loud. Yes, it is a lot of fun. It sounds amazing, but I can definitely see that getting very, very tiring and it just becomes too much for a daily driver. Okay, so different scenario. Your car is a weekend car. You don't drive it that much. You take it to the track, what have you, car shows, whatever it may be. You really don't drive it as a daily driver. That's exactly what mine is. I have a different vehicle that I use for a daily driver, so I don't have to worry about the external wastegate sound getting annoying. If your car is like mine and you don't use it as a daily driver, 1010% worth it. It sounds unreal. I absolutely love this thing. I love the sound of it. It is, like I said earlier, it is extremely, extremely loud. I'm telling you, I had some very, very loud exhaust setups on previous cars, and this by far takes the cake. If you guys are curious what exhaust setup I am running, it is Killer Bee equal length headers, PLM turbo up pipe with the dump tube and the tile 44mm wastegate, and then it goes to a Blausch 1.5 XTR turbo, and then we go to a Grimspeed catted downpipe, and then the rest of it is a titanium Tomei catback. So very, very loud setup. Definitely not daily driver friendly, but honestly, when you're just cruising, 65, 70 miles an hour, it's really not that bad. There is a little bit of drone, but I'm used to louder cars, so it really doesn't bother me. I always say exhausts are very, very subjective. So some people's loud can be another person's quiet could be another person's loud, so it really depends. So simply put, if it's a daily driver, stay internal wastegate. If it's a weekend fun car, go to external wastegate. It's very straightforward. There's no complications about it. Obviously, the cons of having one as a daily driver is it gets really, really loud. And honestly, there's really no cons to it for a weekend fun car. To be completely honest, it's more of a reliability mod, especially when you're running more power like myself. So going to external wastegate is definitely the route to go. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. This was actually the first time that I really got to drive the car pretty hard. I only got a few clips, but I was really getting on it. I've gotten to drive the car around and everything like that, but it's usually to and from work, and I really didn't get a chance to just go out for a drive. And this was the first time that I just dedicated some time to get my butt outside the garage, drive the car, and really put it through its paces and just kind of feel everything that I've done to it. And I am so freaking happy with this car. It honestly is a completely different car with everything that I've done to it recently with the new turbo and all that. It is an absolute blast. I could not recommend this entire setup enough. 413 horsepower, 358 foot-pounds of torque. It is just an absolute pleasure to own this car. A lot of fun. It sounds crazy. And to be able to take this out whenever I want is such a pleasure. So again, just a reminder, I will be at Wicked Big Meet this Sunday, June 5th. I will be in the Grimspeed car show. So if you're interested in checking the car out or meeting me, I don't know why people want to meet me, but if you are interested in doing that, I will be there. I'll be there for the whole entire day. I dedicated the entire day to meet you guys, to show the car off and everything. It is a long journey for me. It's about 3.5 to 4 hours. So I'm really looking forward to it, because honestly, as a dad of 3 kids, full-time job, and just, you know, the busy life, I really don't get a chance to do this that often. So taking time out of my weekend to do this is a big deal to me, and I'm really looking forward to kind of finally putting some faces to names, checking out some cool cars, and letting everybody check this car out finally. So if you guys have any questions at all about the setup that I'm running or anything else on the car, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.